Welcome back. Concerns about forever chemicals have continued to grow, and a Maine couple is on a mission to fill a gap when it comes to testing your well water.
Yeah, their company is recognized as the first laboratory accredited for PFAS testing in the state of Maine. Here to tell us more is the CEO of Maine Laboratories, Katie Richards. Good morning. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so first, can you take us back to how this all started?
Yeah, well, we decided to open the business back in June of 2022, so I guess we're on our 3-year anniversary now. And what we were trying to do was find a way for us to get our own water tested for PFAS. And so I started Googling, okay, well, who's doing that testing in the state of Maine, knowing that it had been such a big, conversation topic in the state. And that's when I realized that there were no labs that were accredited to do PFAS testing in Maine. And my husband happens to be a PhD analytical chemist, and he was familiar with some of the equipment that was used to do the PFAS testing. And so I kind of pitched to him, proposed the idea that, maybe this was an opportunity for us to fill a gap in this state where nobody else was doing it, and we decided to open the lab ourselves. And since then, certainly it's been a whirlwind, tour to get to the place where we are right now.
You kind of alluded to this, but tell us a little bit more about each of your backgrounds and how that kind of made it for the perfect combination to open this up.
Yeah. So he of course has his chemistry PhD. He's a chemistry professor and runs his own research lab. And then I've got a business background. I worked for over 20 years at Bank of America and did a lot of project management and leadership consulting. And so it made sense for me to kind of be at the face of the business and kind of think about what do we need to do to accomplish our goals and keeping ourselves on a very tight timeline. And I think that's what has honestly made us really successful so far, is just having a very, a path that we're going to be following and then knowing what steps we need to take to get there.
Yeah, so you appeared on Greenlight Maine, which is over on our sister station, CBS 13. It's kind of like a local Shark Tank kind of feel.
Yes.
Kind of talk about what that experience was like for you.
Oh, it was fascinating. I mean, it's my first time ever being on TV in this way. So that was kind of interesting in and of itself. But what I really appreciated about the experience is I got to meet a lot of other business owners and entrepreneurs, and hearing about what they were doing and building. It's always really inspiring to hear about what people have the initiative to do. So that was a lot of fun. And then talking to the judges and the questions that they asked, it was interesting. It's always interesting to see what an outsider's point of view is and what they might want to know about your business. And so I thought that was a great learning experience too.
And what milestone accreditation have you received since that appearance?
Oh, yes. Okay, so something new has happened since then, because I believe we recorded in the March timeframe. So last month in May, we were able to achieve DoD Environmental Lab accreditation, so DoD ELAP, and then also in conjunction with that, we achieved ISO 17025, which is an international lab accreditation. So really, as it stands, we're at the highest caliber of lab that you can be, and we're the second lab in the entire state of Maine to have DoD accreditation.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, so you also validated an in-house method that is more affordable when it comes to some major benefits. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, okay, so that's correct. That's new. Not a lot of people know about that yet. We've just launched it really this week, essentially. And so we were looking for a way to make the testing more reasonable, lower the barrier of cost for homeowners, because that's really a market that is dear to me. No, I mean, that's why I opened the business, was so that homeowner, I could get access to a PFAS test. And right now the cost for an average homeowner well water test is about $400. So we were looking for a method we could use that would be cheaper, use less consumables, a little bit less overhead, and then also be faster. And we were able to develop a method in the lab, and we validated it to be the same level of quality of data as our $400 test, but it comes in at about half the price. So we just launched it on Amazon this week at $195, which we're really excited about. And it's our first foray into doing something really that's nationally available, right? If we're putting on Amazon, we're saying, hey, anybody that wants to get their well water tested across the entire U.S., they can order the test themselves.
That's a big price difference for sure. Who do you think should be doing these PFAS tests, and how does it work exactly?
That's a great question. So, I mean, if we're talking about the homeowner piece of the pie, I would say anybody that's on well water, I would recommend getting their water tested for PFAS. And it would be just like an initial baseline test to understand if there's any concerns for contamination. And then a lot of people ask me, oh, should I be doing this every year, every 2 years, how often? And you know, I think every 1 year is probably a conservative answer. I would say what I'd be paying attention to more is if I was on a well is there any construction happening nearby? Is anybody else drilling a new well? Is there anything happening that might be potentially changing the way that the water is moving underneath the land, the aquifers potentially changing? And that's what would trigger me to do another test. The other most popular homeowner test that we have actually is a soil test, and that is popular in the state of Maine because you have a lot of people who have their own gardens. They like to live on their own produce, right?
Yeah.
That certainly is a priority here in Maine. And so if you are potentially near an area that could have been contaminated, it would be good to test your soil and understand if that PFAS contamination is going from the soil up into the plant, and then potentially you're consuming it if you're eating those vegetables.
Yeah, can you remind folks where they can find you?
Yes, yeah. Well, okay, so our website is www.mainelaboratories.com. So that's it. You can find us there. If you have questions about PFAS testing, you can find the answers there, and you can order PFAS test kits there as well. And then, of course, we're located in Maine. We're in central Maine in Norridge Walk, just an hour and a half north of Portland, and we do have many clients who like to stop in. They like to drop off their samples themselves, and we love to say hi. So if anybody is in the area and wants to swing by to grab a kit in Norridge Walk, they're more than welcome to do that.
Well, congratulations, and it sounds like much more to come from your business and impacting residents all over the state and the country now
Yes,
that other people have
that's the
access
plan.
too.
That's right.
All right, well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Us.
Thank you.
And as we